I don't know how to start off this video. I guess Zipman Chapter 5 review and discussion. I need an intro. So the chapter starts off pretty average, I guess. We see Kaname walking to school after, the giant robot attack that took place a couple days prior. And we see Koshiro in a backpack on Kaname. And oh, dude, it's so stupid. It's really dumb, but it's just that classic humor of, no, bro, they're not gonna see you. You're fine. It's totally fine. And they have a very short flashback of the whole conversation. Like, dude, like, we're superheroes now. We have to, like, figure out how to live our daily lives as people and also be superheroes. And so they come up with a backpack idea to gain some intel because they're trying to investigate some stuff out right now. And they're just like, yeah, this is fine. This is okay. This will work. And so they have to play it off like, oh no, he's a basic backpack that's really big and opens. So you know what you probably could have done there? Kaname could have probably been like, yeah, it's a mountain backpack or something like that. Along those lines, it probably would have been way more convincing. And then Cheetah shows up and she basically tackles him into the nearest fountain. It's not, I can't really make out what it is. I think it's just a statue or something. She's all like, oh my god, you're still alive? You didn't text me after, the giant robot fight with what was it? What was the anime pop chick? I forgot. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. It's the cutie one. Was it Cutebot? It was Cutiebot. There we go. Yeah, so basically he didn't text her afterwards. That's really bad though as a friend. You just had a fight with a giant robot and you're all like, I'm good. I'm at my house. We're fine. It's okay. But, right after that, she's all like, yo, your backpack's really cute. And then he's like, oh, thank you. And he's like, it kind of looks like Koshiro. And both of them were like, fuck. They're like, oh no, dude, how did she figure out? It's only been like 15 seconds. It's just like, hijinks ensues. They're just like, how? That's impossible. Nani? And so basically, we get a bit farther into the chapter, page 8, my bad. And we get the plot of the story, and probably the next story arc, or like the first one, because, the few first chapters of the story have just been like an introduction, so nothing too crazy. So they're basically setting up the next arc here, and they're trying to figure out who this Phantom cosplayer is. She was brought up very briefly. They're like, hey, we're trying to find some intel for this, and we're just trying to, like, figure things out, and, plot convenience is just like, yeah, this Phantom cosplayer was seeing some girl in class 3, and of course, more hijinks ensue, because basically the girl from class 3 is like, I'm explaining this to you right now, but I'm also seeing like the chapter in front of me, or the page. I always say chapter, my bad. And I'm seeing it, and it's another Japanese name. Man, why can't you choose like a name like Brandy or Zarek? That's a girl. You can name a girl Zarek, it's fine. But she's basically the shy type, and he's all like, well, this isn't gonna work. Or Koshiro's like, well, this isn't gonna work. Like, Kaname is all like, hey, how you doing there? Like, he's all like hyper interactive, and he always has a scary face to him. And her name is, by the way, Megara? I think it's Megara. I got it. I think it is. And they're just like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And they're just kind of approaching her, but it's gonna end up totally bad. And as they approach her, they're all like, yeah, are you the one chick? And then she just disappears like a ninja, and they're like, huh? Where'd she go? So Koshiro and Kaname are like, alright, we gotta start investigating this girl because she clearly knows something, and she's just being shy, and they're just kind of following her around is probably the best way to describe it. And they give a little nod and a hint to the end of the chapter. She's like, she's listening to something. It's music related, and they're just like, curious little thing, isn't she? But Koshiro and Kaname basically follow her around, and eventually go to her art class. Yeah, I would describe it as art class, or painting class. Sometimes schools have different names for different subjects. And Koshiro's like, alright, bro, you gotta start up a conversation with her. So, mimic her painting. So, some interaction will go on. But, this is a fun manga, so it totally backfires. So, just like on Twitter, if you start copying people's art, it's gonna turn out bad, and everybody's gonna call you out for it. And so, she looks over at Kaname's, and he just gives the devil, like, grin he always gives. And she's just like, oh god, get away from me. So, Koshiro's all like, damn, well, that plan totally backfired. This sucks. And then Kaname are like, hey, we should, try out my idea. And, his idea is totally outlandish and stupid. So, of course it works. So, basically, he encounters her at the statue in the beginning of the chapter, and he's all like, hey, yo! And I keep on laughing at this. He's just like, I've been stalking you all day, but I've been trying to get a question out of you the entire day. So here's just a direct approach because I'm tired of chasing after the whole day. And he's all like, I have to read it. I have to reread it again. Hold up. He basically just analyzes her and just tries to figure her out. So he can basically just be like, hey, your likes and dislikes are pretty cool. Like, he did the same thing he did with Cutie Bot. And he's like, yeah, you know, your whole aesthetic is cool and all, but you're still a bad person. But with her, with her, he's all like, hey, you're cool, but you're not a villain, so, you know, it's fine. So he's just like, I'm depressed all of a sudden. You know why? Because there's another Japanese word I can't pronounce. Kaname's all like, you know, I was hearing your music earlier, and it's from I'm gonna just put it up on screen. I can't pronounce it, but, you know, the last number's 49. And he's all like, yeah, that group's pretty cool. I really like them. They were in the Jackman movie. It was a theme for the Jackman movie. He's like, yeah, can we talk? And he's just like, yeah. You know about anything about the Phantom cosplayer? He's just, like, interrogating her now, but, like, you know, like just having a casual conversation with her. It's just basically, you know, Fallout 4 dialogue, like, hey, my perception level's perfectly fine for this. And he just starts talking to her, and she basically says, yeah, the Phantom cosplayer, I saw her like a while back, like after school, and she gave her this like note card. It says, zip down, prime member, brave. And that's the end of the chapter. What I think of it, this chapter was fun. I personally enjoyed it very, very much. It was just basically like how do I describe it? It was like the first half of the chapter was just like, we're superheroes now. How do we deal with the fact that we are, you know, regular people? Well, you know, Kaname is a regular person. Koshiro's not. He's basically a bag at this point. Do you think he puts his notebooks and stuff in them? Do you think that would be so weird? How does Koshiro feel things? Does he have a nervous system? Okay, besides that, like, you know, that first part is just like, okay, we're heroes, we need to figure this stuff out. And then the later half is just like, okay, we have to do the superhero thing. Let's go track down this girl, and, you know, hijinks ensue. So it's a really fun chapter overall. And this Phantom cosplayer chick, I'm assuming it's a chick because, you know, Cutie Bot was a dude, so I'm assuming, and, you know, I assume terribly at this point. But I'm assuming, I don't think we noticed her in any of the last chapters, or, you know, you remember the panel where it showed like a whole bunch of the high members of the chairman's like group. I don't think I saw any people or, you know, robots or, you know, robot suits that looked like a cosplayer or like any female like, not silhouettes? I don't know the word I'm trying to say out, like, you know, silhouettes, there we go. So yeah, there's no distinction. So I'm assuming that she's a low-ranking member, probably, or just like, you know, has connections to higher members in the group. So I don't think there's anything too crazy with there. So they're just, you know, at the end of this chapter, it's just basically leading up to the next arc. Or we could probably say this is the beginning of the new arc. So I think that's probably all I can say about this chapter. So this is probably the end of the video. Stay hydrated. Follow me on Twitter. Have a good rest of your day wherever you are in the world. Deuces.